Hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show on expatsportugal.com. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're here with you this morning, Monday, the 9th of November, 2020. Let me put that a different way. Segunda-feira, dia 9 de novembro. Okay, so repeat after me. Segunda-feira, dia 9 de novembro. And Portuguese people who are tuned in can correct me on my pronunciation. That's all part of the job here. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know how you're doing. Things have intensified, have they not, since Friday when I was talking about a soft state of emergency? I guess we've got something like that, but things have intensified in those 121 municipalities where stronger measures are in place, including nighttime curfews now. So we will look at that after we've had a look at the weather. Would like to know your reaction to that. And more importantly, actually, and this is certainly true as the days unfold with these stronger measures, how is it going for you where you live? That's the important thing, isn't it? There's the hype of the news outlets, and there is the government obviously having to impose things and take its job responsibly and do what it thinks is right, taking into account a number of factors. But then, of course, there's the real life of people. And that's what this show is all about, really. And that's what this community is all about, to find out what's really going on for people and to see how we can help and support each other as a network. Thank you, Richard, Paul, Sally, and Neil, who've already commented. We'll come back to your comments after we've had a very quick look at the weather ahead for this week, because it's all miraculously changed. It's fantastic. Last week, I was talking about a forecast that was bringing rain right into this week, really. But I think that's about to change, mercifully. This will be really nice for lifting people's spirits, I think, at the moment. In Lisbon, currently 15 degrees and partly cloudy. It will be the high of 19. It will be a cloudy week in Lisbon, but the rain, I think we're seeing the back of the rain in Lisbon this week now, as we look forward to sun returning in its full glory at the weekend. But certainly less, if not no rain for the rest of the week in Lisbon. Cloudy, temperatures of up to 20 there in the capital. In Porto, possible light rain today. However, a cloudy day with some sun tomorrow, a high of 17 today, 18 on Wednesday, and the sunshine returning to Porto on Friday. That's the forecast, although I do see a little bit of rain returning for the weekend. I make it sound like I'm holding my bit of seaweed, don't I? And I can see the rain returning on Saturday. That's just a meteorological forecast, which I'm very grateful for. Let me have a sip of my Honegar here. My, what is it? Not white wine, cider vinegar plus honey. Very nice too. There you go. That's better. And a nice change from tea. Okay, that weather, Coimbra, 14 degrees currently and cloudy. A little bit of rain today, but again, giving way to some sunshine peeking out from behind the clouds, and highs of 20 and 21 for the rest of the week. And some nice sunshine actually returning on Friday, 20 degrees on Friday, and allegedly not a cloud to be seen in the sky. Faro down there in the south, sunny day today and tomorrow. How about that? Sunny at the moment, 15 degrees and clear. High of 20, 21 tomorrow. Great temperatures, nice and mild for the time of year. A little bit of cloud returning on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but a sunny day forecast for Saturday. Ooh, and a little bit of rain, it would appear. Next Sunday, the rain may return. But, only to be expected at this time of year, but a nice break, it has to be said, from the rain that we've had over the last few days. When I was out and about this morning, with the dogs, the ground was truly soggy, sinking into it this morning. So the ground is wet. Hopefully the reservoirs are replenished, and we've got some much needed rain for the crops for the autumn and winter crops that have gone in. And hopefully we'll have a little bit of a break from that with some warmer temperatures and some sunnier weather as we go into these extended state of emergency measures. So yes, state of emergency is where we're at again, and it particularly affects the 121 municipalities with higher incidences and alarming levels of growth, according to the government. And those, of course, may change. The municipalities where extra measures are in place can be removed from that list of extra measures, and others can be added. So it all depends on the growth of cases and recovery in those municipalities, as I understand it. Let's go to a few of your comments this morning. How are you doing? Great to see Richard Holmes is back in Portugal. Looks like he's escaped the UK lockdown and is weaving in and out of the lockdown or increased measures over here in Portugal. Welcome back. Bem-vindo to you, Richard Holmes, back in PT. Well done, mate. Bon dia from Paul Williams. It's a bright, warm start to another week. Yeah, I think that's your Faro weather that I was just talking about there, Paul. Good for you. It's nice to, I think obviously it's good to have a bit of rain every now and then, but it was, what with everything going on, it was going on a bit too long, wasn't it? Rain day after day after day. So it's nice to have a bit of a break from that. Sally, good morning to you over there on YouTube. Hola, bon dia. Hi, Carl. Good morning. Good morning to you, my friend. How are you this morning? Great to hear from you. Bon dia. Bon semana. Todas. A good week to everybody from Poopy Perkins, as we call him in our wine club gang. He likes a bargain. Poopy in that sense, in the Portuguese sense, not in the American sense, of course, Neil. Good morning to you and to Rita in the Alentejo. Bon dia from Faro for now, says Louise. Yeah, do get in touch. Stay in touch, Louise. We'll see what we can do to help and support you on your journey. Yeah, welcome and fingers crossed. Good luck to you in your adventure. Dominique from San Martino de Porto this morning. Good morning, Andy Craig. Good morning. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, Andy. Eugene is glad to see that Neil is alive and well and has escaped. We were talking for 2.5 hours, would you believe, on Friday night at the Expat Man Cave. I think it's becoming a really good place for men of a certain age to debrief their week. It's like a virtual local where you can get in and have a drink and have a chat and talk rubbish. And we did for 2.5 hours. There was some alarm raised about Neil's well-being, having been with Frank the Hat for a little while, but he's alive and well, as you can see there, Eugene. Much relief there in Ireland. Good morning to Eugene as well. Thank you for your excellent contributions on Friday night. Morning from Valerie at Spencer Bex was slinging it down here. I thought she was singing there for a minute. Morning was slinging it down here on the coast first thing, but now beautiful sunshine is bursting forth. I can feel that almost on the back of my neck, Valerie. I know what it feels like to have that silver coast sunshine warming your bones. Fantastic. And Eugene saying, glad you're amongst us again, brother. He was really worried about you, Neil. He really was. Luckily, still no recorded infected numbers in Alvito. Well done, sir, to you and your community. And David, a bitball who was with us on Friday as well. Great to see you, David. Bon dia, comunidad. Bon dia to the community. David, very keen to get over here to Portugal from America. And we'll, as we discussed on Friday, David, we will be the first to let the rest of the world, well, certainly America, know that if and when the doors are reopened again. Obviously, interesting times over there in the States, and Biden put in his COVID crew together today, I believe. Yes, escaped, but they are looking for me, says Neil. He was especially worried about your relationship with Frank the Hat, Neil. But I think that mystery has been solved now. Just a quick hi and a bye. Can't stop. Got to get up and out, says Will. Well, check you out. Yeah, very good day to you, Will, if you're still here. He's a busy fella. Alarming levels of PCR testing. Is that over there in the UK or here in Portugal? Probably both, actually, for you, Hendrik Lamar. And how's it going with your situation? With your efforts to keep your business going in the UK lockdown. Do let us know if you want to here. You're very welcome to do that. Jenny, good morning, Jenny. Great to see you. Bon dia, great voice. Well, thank you, Jenny. That's if it stops croaking and cracking up. But I think the Honecker is giving it some benefit this morning. Great to hear from you, Jenny. Thank you very much. Bon dia, and congratulations to Biden and Harris for restoring a modicum of sanity to the world, says Adrian Caffrey. Well, we'll see about that. It would appear so, would it not? But we really will see about that. Because I think my sense of it is that most of the revelry is to do with getting rid of somebody and how people are against something and somebody, rather than, I mean, let's see what they do first. I agree with the sentiment there, Adrian, but I don't think we should get carried away just yet. It's not until January, is it, that that partnership takes their place in the office there in the White House. There's still some muddy water. There's water to come under the bridge between now and January, and it's probably going to be muddy. But I get your sentiment, Adrian, for sure, and thank you for expressing that. Because we pride ourselves on being a community where you can say what you need to say as long as it's legal and respectful, and we talk to each other here. We don't just get a cob on and leave because someone disagrees with us or has a different point of view, or that's what we like to think. And a very good example of that, of course, is Garvo Austin here. Gary Austin, morning Portuguesers, he says. It's my great misfortune to catch EastEnders on looking at a bit of foreign telly the other day. Ian Beale is still there. Has he been on EastEnders for about 200 years now? And it's dismal, isn't it? Isn't it terrible? I'm so unhappy to... first of all, I'm thinking, EastEnders, I remember that. Never used to watch it really. But then I was looking at these people thinking, is that? No. Is that? Yes, it is. Oh, my goodness. And isn't this dismal and terrible? Won't be doing that again. Morning all from Joe Johnson. Good morning to you, Joe. How are you over there? How are you and Ty? Good morning from Doreen Reyes as well. Good morning, Doreen. And Hendrik, anywhere worldwide where numbers are rising, 40 tests, 40 numbers, 40 measures, 40 towers. We are currently closed, looking to reopen this week. Portugal dream has been put on hold by all of this too. Not a happy bunny right now. I'm really sorry to hear that, Hendrik. I really am. Keep your Portuguese pilot light lit here, mate, with us in this community. These are very challenging, difficult times, and no more for you and what you're trying to do and keep a business open, a gym business open in UK at the moment. And your idea was amazing, and it was very sad to see how you'd reframed yourself in a positive way to help your community had been pushed back by your local authority. I was very sorry to see that. Lots of love to you from us over here right now, and we hope we'll be living that Portuguese dream with you soon enough and raising a cold Sagres as well sometime soon. Sally, thank you for letting us know the weather. Winter crops over there. Lovely to know about crops like in the Douro. Please, Sally, as a pretty horticulturalist. Okay, pretty horticulturalist. Bon dia, you're looking more young this weekend. I have rested myself over the weekend, I have to say, Sally. And you do get to see the bags under my eyes. It's almost like they're almost like a barometer, aren't they? Of perhaps the world. The world on my shoulders and my state of personal vitality. But yeah, I do feel rested and rejuvenated by a fin de semana that was very good. Just took it easy, really, which I think is a really good idea. A good idea to do in these times of challenge. Ian is leaving EastEnders. I can't bring myself to say I'm sorry to hear that. He deserves the rest as well. He's probably got big bags under his eyes, hasn't he, after these 200 years on EastEnders? So he's on his way out. Interesting. Don't get me drawn into EastEnders gossip, please, Joe. Good morning, Carl. As you might know, I'm trying to sell my second home up in the mountains near Piodal. So now is going to require me to ask people who might be in the 121 concealers not to view my house. And people that are flying in, are they allowed now? They need to stay in a place outside those districts. Are they even allowed to fly? Yes, people are flying. At the moment, the airports are not closed. They are not part of the state of emergency. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. We will just turn up one day. Love to the family. Hi, Hendrik. I'm sure you will. Bon dia, my dear. From Sean Maguire in Pedrógão Grande there. Is it Grande or Pequena? But anyway, over there in the Pedrógão area of Portugal. We are still looking for a palavra do dia today. And this would be a nice phrase in Portuguese. In dark times, follow the light of your dreams. Well said, Garvo. Fast becoming an elder of this community with wisdom like that. I don't want to age you too quickly, Gary, but that's awesome. In dark times, follow the light of your dreams. And we do, on Tuesday evening here, we do talk about Portuguese positive news. And in the absence of just straight up news stories that are positive, we've actually been talking with Donna Jacqueline, our expat elder, the grandmother of our community, about how to look after yourself and do exactly what Gary's talking about there. Follow the light of your dreams. So come and join us on a Tuesday evening from 10. Share your dreams and let's bask in the light of those dreams and share them. It's so true what Gary's saying there, I think. Very good news over the weekend for some 75 plus million humanitarians. Ooh, cheeky. What might that be, Ty? Tell us more. And it is Pedrógão Pequeno, which is beautiful. The Sunday market there, been to it, love it. Great part of Portugal. If you don't know about that part of the Castelo Branco district. How's it looking for you with the municipality lockdowns there, Sean? Do let us know. And hola from Laura. Good morning, Laura. Lovely to have you join us this morning. She, of course, was with us last Monday evening, I believe, with the Expat Chat Show, helping us create a new formula, which I'm hoping to do tonight with Claire Bendel. Will be joining us tonight to talk about her part of Portugal. A very interesting week, actually. On Friday, the British ambassador will be joining us, albeit briefly, I think, on Friday, but with a message for British expats. So how about that? Should I wear my dinner jacket or not on Friday when Chris Sainty, the British ambassador, joins us live on the show on Friday? Tonight, after we've talked to Claire, Claire, if you are watching, I'm thinking we might be able to do it a bit earlier because you were concerned, weren't you, about having a late night? I'm happy to do it a little bit earlier this evening if you want to do that. And we will talk, of course, to Mark as well. We were bringing back the Portugal playlist tonight and doing a radio show this evening with Mark and plotting his journey through the music of his planning and execution of his journey here, the music he's been listening to whilst dreaming of being in Portugal, and presumably the music he's enjoying now he is in Portugal. Awesome. So Portugal playlist tonight, an expat chat tonight, Friday, the ambassador, and we're talking to Maria Costa for another expat chat on Wednesday evening. If you want to learn more about the Tamar area, Maria's great. She's got so much to tell us on Wednesday from her personal point of view, but she lives in the Tamar part of Portugal, which is in the Santarém district. And we will be chatting with her and having a great time, I'm sure. I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun when Maria and I get together. Sorry I'm late. I've been busy. Hi to all. Have you been mucking out or something like that, Elsa, this morning? Good morning to you. Lovely to hear from you, Elsa. Is it true Castella Branco gets frost in the winter, Sean? I believe that to be true, but I'll let Sean tell you that himself. Feeding the Christmas cake. There's a lovely picture of domestic bliss and forward planning. Fantastic, Elsa. Are you going to share your recipe with us? Ian Beale used to live in the next village to me back in the UK, but because I didn't know who he was until somebody told me. Yes, good for you. Hola, bon dia from Owen. Owen, how are you? How has your recent adventure been? Do tell all. Right, okay, on to serious matters now, folks. And this situation with the state of emergency, which has returned to Portugal. Albeit, I mean, it's been called a soft state of emergency. It's not like the last one. It is a bit different. I've got this on Facebook, so it's probably best that I don't share it with you with all the messages popping up on screen. So I'll ask you to bear with me and just to keep the picture as it is. I'll see if I can offer a bit of contrast on the screen. But certainly, those of you who actually, that's an interesting question. Do you have this on in the background like a radio show? Or do you actually watch it? I need to know. I need to get a bit of info from your demographic here to find out how I can do this best for you. So do let me know. Do you listen? Is it like a radio show or is it more like telly? And how should I adjust with that in mind? But let's go back to this Safe Communities Portugal missive or announcement from yesterday. State of emergency measures announced by Prime Minister following Council of Ministers meeting. Number one, the Council of Ministers approved today the decree which executes the declaration of the state of emergency made by the President of the Republic with the duration of 15 days from midnight this morning. Okay, so it came into effect from midnight this morning, and this will last until the 23rd of November, just before midnight, expires at midnight on the 23rd of November, or 23:59, strictly speaking, because there is the possibility of these states of emergency being extended in 15-day blocks, okay, or 2-week or 15-day blocks. Let's not argue over a day. The Council of Ministers approved on Saturday the mandatory curfew for the 121 municipalities that were the subject of the civic duty of withdrawal as a measure to halt the exponential growth of the COVID-19 pandemic. The measure goes into effect on Monday today under the state of emergency. Now, this is what you might want to be aware of. Before I do that, let me just have another sip of my drink here. Right, Hanniger doing the trick. Yes, thank you for that feedback that's coming in. Really appreciate that. Let me tell you then what this curfew amounts to. During working days, the curfew takes effect between 2300 hours, 11 o'clock, and 5 in the morning, 0500 hours. And this is the interesting thing that might catch some people. Be aware of this. And at the weekends between 1300, 1 o'clock, and 0500, 5 the next morning. So ordinary, the working days, the weekdays, it is a curfew between 11 and 5, 11 at night and 5 in the morning. Then at weekends from 1 in the afternoon till 5 in the morning. This is presumably to allow you to get out and do some shopping and to minimize movement and spread of the virus, but only for the next 2 weekends, okay? The 14th and 15th and the 21st and 22nd of November. And here are the exceptions: except for urgent and unavoidable travel. It is applied in the 121 municipalities that register more than 240 new cases per 100,000 inhabitants in the last 14 days, with the objective of curbing the contamination during the month of November, stressed the Prime Minister. Now, what I've done, so what the all-important thing, of course, here is those 121 municipalities. This is where there is an added level of complication. I will put a link in the comments now, which takes you to our forum on expatsportugal.com, and there's a PDF there which has been created by Safe Communities Portugal, which gives you those currently the 121 municipalities. Okay, this is the important thing, that they may change according to the rise or fall of cases in those areas. Okay, so they are there for you to look at on the link that I have just posted. There will be a ban on circulation in public spaces and driving on public roads between the hours of 11 p.m. and 5 a.m., with the exception of situations of people who've got to go to work, people who return from work to their home, and people who have to leave due to urgency, be it to go with a health establishment, to go to a health establishment, to a pharmacy, or to help a family member who is sick, added the Prime Minister. During the mandatory period, the restaurants in the 121 counties must be closed, but may be served as a takeaway. Para levar. Maybe that is the word, the palavra do dia today is para levar, takeaway. You need to know that. In the question period of journalists, Antonio Costa clarified that takeaway from restaurants is available. Restaurants are working. People may not go there, but restaurants can deliver meals, he said. Now, that's a bit complicated, isn't it? You can have a takeaway, but it's got to be delivered, presumably, and a further clarification is being sought about that. The Prime Minister stated closure of schools is not being considered at present. Okay, so schools are not being closed right now. All of this subject to change, but as we stand, schools not being considered to be closed. And note, there is nothing that refers to closing of borders, airports operate as normal, to go back to Gareth's question earlier on. He's worried. He's trying to sell a house and he doesn't want it messed up by people moving about unnecessarily. So airports are operating as normal. Obviously, if you fly back to the UK, you're in for a 2-week quarantine, as I understand it. And if you fly here, I don't think you are as yet. But so not quarantine specifically, but if you fly here and you go and you live in one of those areas, you're subject to the curfew, obviously. And the problems, I suppose the grey areas here are about moving around, aren't they, from one place to another, and perhaps it's best not to. Obviously, it's your life; it's up to you. But in the longer grass, in the grey areas, this is where, you know, if you do get stopped and it's uncomfortable and difficult because you don't speak the language, you want to be doing your own personal risk assessments here, don't you? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you a few things to consider. Excuse me. So they do say at Safe Communities Portugal, this is for information. We await the publication of the law with full details to clarify the questions you may have. And as I've said on many occasions, and as we've done right from the start of the pandemic here, Safe Communities Portugal.com remain a very good source of information. We're doing our best at expatsportugal.com to do what we can to bring you information and put a little bit of detail in there and personal experience. But if you just want the basics, George Branco is very good with this, with his newsletter, as are Safe Communities Portugal. They're not flowering it up too much. And as you know, if you tune in here, I have a tendency to add my views and opinions, and I'm very glad to hear yours on it. So if you just want the straight up advice, well, not advice, the straight up information, start with safecommunitiesportugal.com and then come here to sort of flesh out and furnish the bigger picture of that and how it's affecting us on the ground in our actual and real lives. And I see what a difficult job Safe Communities Portugal are having, because every time they post something, people want to talk about it. And I also understand that, how they see themselves is more about giving the information rather than wanting to just discuss it too much. And as you know, obviously on social media, things can get out of hand very quickly. So they are mindful of that. Okay, so we can go back to your comments and feedback. Tell me more about that. Actually, before I do go back to your comments, actually we'll finish with your comments. But I'm looking interestingly at in the Portugal resident. As I said before, culturally, I have a very low age in Portugal. I have the sort of linguistic and cultural age of a 5-year-old or something like that. So it's hard to understand the nuances of what's going on. If I sit on a bus or a train, I don't hear what people are talking about, what they're moaning about, what they're discussing in their lives, as I would do if I were in my native UK. What was interesting to me was to see, as reported in the portugalresident.com, that people in Portugal are actually divided over mask wearing. It's easy to pick up an impression that people are very obedient and law-abiding in Portugal, which I think they are, generally speaking. But this article from Marina Watson, Portuguese people divided over use of masks on the streets. This is on the streets, not masks in general, says that discussions over wearing a mask on the streets have split opinions and shown how fractured Portugal is over the country's approach to the COVID-19 crisis. That said, and I find myself in this category, I'm all for following the law. Okay, I have my personal opinions, and ultimately I'm following the law. And I think that's the context of this article, is whilst people are following the law, this is how the opinion poll will show you how they feel, perhaps. According to the Eurosondagem poll carried out for local broadcaster Portugal and the weekly newspaper Sol, 48% of residents say they agree with the use of a mask, 45% disagree, and 7% have doubts or do not know or don't want to answer. Portugal imposed the use of masks in busy places, in case you didn't know, on October the 28th, and those not wearing one in the streets where social distancing is not possible face fines of up to €500. You should know that. Last month, the World Health Organization changed its guidelines and advised people to wear masks in public where social distancing is not possible. The Eurosondage study was carried out between Monday and Thursday with 1,000 telephone interviews. That is not a massive sample, is it? But interestingly, it turns out that probably every debate in the world at the moment comes down to about 48-52. Those are familiar numbers, aren't they? But isn't it fascinating how polar and binary the world is in terms of its opinion now? But I guess that's in many ways the logical conclusion of democracy. But I don't want to start that philosophical debate here right now at this time on a Monday morning. Let's go back to Christmas cake that Elsa's been feeding this morning, and your wonderful comments. Yes, so you're letting me know. There is just a light frost in Castelo Branco there. It's good to know, isn't it? This is part of what this is all about here, helping people with their decisions whilst moving to Portugal. And that awesome question, which I'm sure Valerie at Spencer Becks has a view on, which part of Portugal shall we live in? I used to have it in the back as a radio show while I'm working, unless I want to comment. Thanks, Valerie. This is all really helpful to me. Owen, depends on how you're looking in the morning, Carl. So you have a quick look at the, I'm not looking at that. Just have it on in the background. That's one, Owen. When working, watch and listen. When feeding Christmas cake, just listening in case I spill the brandy. This is all great. Rachel, watching for the first time. All good. Thank you, Rachel. Louise, I switch between listening and watching, usually while multitasking. This is all really good to know. For me, you're more like a radio show. I listen while cleaning, but sit down and comment when I hear something particularly interesting. That's great, Joe. Thank you very much indeed. Ty is saying about these rules that I'm sharing with you this morning. I find the rules are becoming too complex and change too frequently to follow easily. It's so true, Ty. I agree with you, and I think this is part of the fatigue people experience, isn't it? And then, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, are just thinking, oh, I'm just going to stay in. I'm going to find out. I'm going to take my best guess, put my finger in the air, see which way the wind's blowing, pop out to Lidl maybe, and the rest of the time it's just easier to stay indoors until this thing is blown over. Am I alone, or do other people feel that way? Is that not a responsible position to take as a citizen? I don't know. Helen, hello, beautiful Portugal. I watch this live show or replay like a visual TV show. It's important to see and hear what everyone is experiencing. I'm so sorry for the severe measures you're experiencing. Stay strong. Keep the love and light for Portugal alive. Why 1 p.m. in the afternoon on weekends? Really strange hours for this virus to stay dormant or awake. Stay healthy, stay strong. Thank you, Helen. Appreciate your feedback. And it's a good question. And I think, that we do make that point, don't we? Often, some people make that point that, the virus has got a watch and knows. I think it's not so much that, is it? It's more about minimizing, and you've got to put a time somewhere, haven't you? And I'm guessing they want people out shopping in the morning and not in the afternoon, and minimizing movement. And in some way, you've got to do that, which then causes a different problem, because it was like the pubs, wasn't it? In London, somebody pointed out that if you shut everything down at 10 in the evening, everybody comes out together at the same time, on the same trains, on the same buses, on the same taxis. You can't win. You can't win as a government. You just have to do something. You have to make your best guess, don't you? And clearly, I mean, the people in government have to have a thick skin and a strong back to make these measures, which you and I can look at and go, well, that just doesn't make any sense. But I guess they've got to start somewhere. And people who really know me will know that I'm no defender of government, but I do get that that's what they have to do. I wish people would research more. You don't catch viruses, says Rachel Sumner. Tell us more, Rachel. Or maybe in the evenings, on our Portugal show in the evenings, I would love to talk about that more. And I have some sympathy with your view there. And think it does warrant a deeper reflection and discussion, because I know these sorts of comments could just go awry, can't they, on social media or in a context like this. But I have sympathy with what you're saying, support your need to say it, and would like to discuss it more if we can find a way to do that. Watching on the big screen like a proper TV show. Check you out on the big screen. I bet you're lying in bed doing it though, Neil. I'll stop there. People are viewing, but we ask the sellers to leave. We have this is going to the world of an estate agent via Valerie here at Spencer Beck's over there on the Silver Coast. We have full PPE, spray everything that's touched, but now need to check which areas we are going into. We have buyers follow in their car now. Wow. Being sensible, staying safe, and following guidelines will get us through all of this, hopefully. Yes, Valerie, what can you do except do your best? Sometimes that is best, says Laura. I'm not sure exactly which bit you're referring to there. Probably not having a curfew between 1 and 11, I'm guessing. But anyway, or 1 and 5 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon and 5 in the morning. Laws made by the lawless. I'm getting a sense of your feelings about this, Rachel. And again, I say let's unpack it further on one of the evening shows. Absolutely. Maybe tomorrow night is the night to do that. Love your face, but it's a listen as I go about my day. Like, that's beautifully put, Hannah. Thank you. Right back at you. Breakfast watcher. A breakfast watcher there for Gary. And that would be a good question too, because we haven't asked that for a while. I think, what breakfast exactly? Is it eggs from your own chickens? Is it Marmite, you Brits? What are you having? Also, having to listen while I make my own herbed tomatoes and the dog's beef patties. That is a pampered pooch. The dog has beef patties. My goodness. Wow. And you've got such a lovely lifestyle there, Elsa. Feeding Christmas cake, herbing tomatoes, and treating your dog like a king or a queen. Amazing. Safiro says, bon dia. Good morning. Yeah, we made friends with Safiro on Friday night at the Expat Man Cave. Fantastic. Peggy, Prosecco Peggy's here, everybody. Accensible. Prosecco Peggy's here in the Algarve. Obviously not on the Prosecco yet, but again, if she is, we don't judge. Good morning to you, Peggy. Missed your company on the social last Thursday, and hope you'll be with us for the next Expats Portugal social. And lots of love to you down in there in the Algarve, where the weather's looking up. Beautiful morning there, I believe. Paul, surely if we obey the rules, we have a chance to defeat it. Anarchy will only lead to more deaths. I understand that sentiment too, Paul. I really do. These are very trying times. Like I said, the government have to make their best bet. And all of our assertions here are premised, aren't they, in other ideas, thoughts, theories, science, politics, all the rest of it. It's very complex, isn't it? And on the face of it, I would agree with you. It would be very sensible to follow a set of rules that make sense, that maybe scientifically show that there is a good chance of the defeat occurring, as you put it there, if the rules are followed. The problem we've got, of course, is that there is the faith in the rules for people isn't shared, is it? Or the basis, I should say, the premises and the context for the rules is where we're not in, where a lot of people aren't in agreement. So that's where it becomes difficult. But in principle, yeah, in principle, everybody's right, aren't they? But in the day to day, in the long grass, in the grey areas, this is where we're finding our challenges. Yes, Rachel, you are right. So we are getting some across the community agreement, and not, I'm sure as well. The Great Reset is here now. Do you mind? Is that a kind of slightly ironic comment? And a little bit of a resentment in there. The Great Resentment is here, Penny, with you exposing that agenda here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Or are you saying the Great Reset is here, right here on the Good Morning Portugal show? Because I believe it is down to us lot to build something new in this old thing that isn't working very well. And the pandemic is only highlighting how poorly put together our society has been in many ways, and how what's the word? Disunited, how untogether we are. You know, how we've forgotten to work together has been exposed, has it not? Because we're so keen to put our opinions and views before. Like the best, one of the best phrases I'm aware of in regard to this is most people would rather be right than be happy. And I think we need to learn how to be happy again, don't we? Before our right to be right, if you like. To me, that encapsulates the personal politics of the last few decades. People want to be right more than they want to be happy, and people go to the most extraordinary extremes, don't they? Of upset just to be right about something, and you know, throw being loving, throw being together, throw being contented away in preference of being right about something. These are crazy times for that stuff. So I would like to think the Great Reset is here. Not that great reset, but the Great Reset that we're all working on together, where we're building something new inside something old that is not fit for purpose any longer. Thank you for that comment, Penny. Whatever we do, we have to do it together to make it work. Gary, echoing my sentiment there. Us two old giffers thinking along the same sort of lines there. Owen saying, yes, Rachel, there's a definite gathering of some sort of momentum over there with Owen, Rachel, and Helen. I think us guys need to talk one evening, lying in bed doing it. You Alentejo people, what are you like? Pete, the rain has cleared here in Castanheira de Pera and the sun is set for the week. We'll be going to help friends harvest their olives for oil along with ours. Isn't that's brought us right back down to earth, right back down to the ground, right back to the Portuguese pilot light and a vision of living in Portugal that is so beautiful, and why so many people want to come here. Helping friends harvest olives for oil along with our own. There is that to me sums up the beauty, the potential of Portuguese life. It's living like that. Not speaking Portuguese fluently. Oh, that was the comment there, referring to the other comment. Oh, I see. Sometimes that is best. That I don't speak Portuguese fluently, so I don't get to hear people. Yeah, I agree with you. I've really enjoyed it, and it's a real dichotomy. Is that the right word? You know, obviously I want to learn Portuguese so I can fit in best and, you know, become a citizen of this country. But there is a joy. You know, ignorance is bliss in that regard for certain. Laura, thank you for that. Thank you very much. Where are we? Not understanding being like a child. Absolutely, yes. Completely agree with you, Laura. I had fresh eggs from free-range hens at the farm, smoked grilled back bacon, toast and tea. She's living the dream over there. She really is. It sounds fantastic. Very helpful show for us in Castelo not speaking Portuguese. My pleasure, Rachel. Really is. That's what this is all about here, to help us speak Portuguese whilst being an English-speaking source of information for the expat community over here. And also for people who want to come to Portugal. That seems to be how it's working. Follow the science. Which science, Ty? Come on. happy to follow the science, but science is like religion now, isn't it? It's like, follow this science. No, follow this science. This science is better. But that science is discredited. Oh, no, it's not. 27 peer-reviewed golden bullet, whatever they call it, plus blind placebo trials say this one is better. No, but 34 say this one is. Follow which science, Ty? The scientists are like the religious now, aren't they? It's not. I don't. What's interesting about those three words is the in there. There isn't the science, is there? There's lots of science, and it doesn't all agree. It doesn't all add up. So I would love to follow the science, but I'm struggling to know which science to put my faith into, which I shouldn't have to do because it's science, right? It shouldn't be an act of faith, should it? Anyway, obey sounds like they live. Morning, Owen. Honestly, the virus rules don't make any sense, says Sapphira. They forbid gatherings of more than 5 people unless they are members of the same family, and yet they still do party conventions. Yes, I think there's general agreement here. If there's one thing we can agree on is that the rules don't make sense, but perhaps what we can agree on is that the rules are being designed in an attempt, even though they don't make sense, they are being put together in an attempt to defeat the virus, defeat the word used earlier on. The virus is awakening us to how we looked at health. We are all walked about for years not caring who died from flu, who were vulnerable, and how filthy some places were. That's an interesting view, Laura. Interesting. Gulags will follow. That's rather taking a dark turn, Sam Dave. But like I said before, people are free to express their view here. Okay. Freedom to breathe and move is a pathway to happiness and a healthier life. No question about that, Helen. Forget that my iPad took over. So the machines are talking to other machines now and pushing their owners out the way. The Great Reset agenda is using the pandemic as a vehicle to achieve their nefarious agenda. Oh, sorry, I thought that was a comment made by your iPad. It's not long before that happens. Yeah, okay. No, I get it. I think the Great Reset is a chilling piece of propaganda or policy or whatever it is. I personally don't fear it. I feel that we're becoming so galvanized together, potentially and possibly, and for some people practically, that these silly big ideas will just remain silly big ideas, because those people with too much time and money on their hands will always do that. And then for the rest of us, life will go on as normal, and we'll just see better ways to live together. Moving to Portugal being one of them. Thank you for that, though, Penny. Lawrence Eastwell, we've been disempowered for so long. Good morning, Loza. Great to see you here, my friend. I think we've forgotten how to get on with each other and trust ourselves. It's an experiment, isn't it, mate? I think we are heading in that direction. We're being forced to, aren't we? If we won't voluntarily get on with each other and trust ourselves, I think we're coming to a position where we're being forced to do it anyway. So I'm very optimistic. We have a choice to work together to beat this thing, or governments will take ever more drastic measures. That's an interesting way of looking at it. You already have troops out in the community assisting, in inverted commas. They can be used in other ways. Don't think it won't happen. Interesting, Gary. And a very balanced view, I think, to talk about personal responsibility and also keep an eye on what the government could do, are capable of doing, if we don't get a hold of it, And I think I have to say, I think our efforts are best put into thinking about how we can work together. And this thing that Donna Jacqueline, our expat elder, our grandmother of this community, said, what are we for? Let's focus on what we're for. If we keep focusing on what we're against, it's a very dissipating energy. And whatever we were against, I think, will come back at us. And maybe that's what Gary's saying here. Interesting. Diogo, good morning to you, Diogo in England. Hello, good morning from England to all, and a good new week to all. That's beautiful. Thank you, Diogo. Has the Flat Earth Society been wound up? I don't know, Ty. I'm sure you can find a little enclave on the web if you want to renew your subscription. I know I'm being cheeky there, Ty, and science is nothing like religion. But do you take my point? You say follow the science. I'm challenging your idea of the science. Which science are we meant to be following? Carl, I agree that we must examine what we have been doing and set a course to do it differently. The status quo will only result in more of what we have now. There you go. Thank you, Peggy, for that. It evolves. And you can see I'm not just reading out comments that agree with me. I'm going to do like those best, obviously, but I'm reading out all the comments. It evolves as they discover more about the virus. This is what policy, I guess, Dominic, you're talking about there. The outcome of science is always dependable on a constant and a variable. Therefore, it's not conclusive. I think that sounds right to me, Helen. And so following the science might be, albeit taking that into account, and the best science available, and maybe the science with the least vested interest and the least big investments. Call me cynical, but I think some science at the moment is accompanied by some rather large financial gain for some people, have we not seen in recent months? I think Carl may have been awoken after his conversation this weekend. Which conversation, or should that say conversion? Which one was that, Pete? Follow your gut. I think that's right on all sorts of levels, Rachel. That is our primary brain, is it not? Some people say the gut. And I think there's a lot in what you say there. You're pretty good on these 3-word interjections that carry so much intelligence within them. I think you're right, following the gut. Bon dia arrived. This is the Mark I was talking about earlier on, with whom I will be doing a radio show tonight. The Portugal playlist returns at 10, and Mark and I will be going through a few tunes that are his delight. Arrived in Póvoa late last night after driving 600 kilometers through almost deserted roads in Spain, now living in Portugal. Yay, yes. Round of applause. And benvindo to you, Mark, to Portugal. Well done, mister. And I'm sure a lot will agree with me here. Let me know if you want to delay on that radio show. I will understand. I really will. But I'll also be delighted to sit and listen to your favorite Portugal music and share that with others this evening. Let me know. Luis, follow the money. Then the nonsense all comes clear. Yes. The nonsense does come clear when you follow the money. This is what we're learning to do. Welcome, Mark, says Dominique. Nighttime discussion show, perhaps. Owen, I've been doing that. Newsflash, I've been doing nighttime discussion shows for several weeks specifically for this purpose. When are we doing it? Let's do it tomorrow night, shall we? Owen, Rachel, and Helen, join us tomorrow night with Donna Jacqueline, and we will look at self-empowerment, personal responsibility, the picture behind the picture. Let's do it tomorrow night. Congratulations to Mark. I think glad someone made it through. Yes, he's a beacon. He's a beacon of freedom and self-reliance. Chasing money is not about friendships and the bigger family. Yeah, and this is what's happened. And Loza, we have in our fear, money would appear to be the cure for fear, mightn't it? But we're finding out that it perhaps isn't. And this is another one of the silver linings, if I may do that to you right now and look at silver linings from this cloud of the pandemic. We've learned a little bit about money and friendships and family, have we not? Welcome, Mark, from Owen as well. Sally, good learning. Science is better than laws. Thank you, Carl, for another good Expats episode. My pleasure, Sally. It really, really is to be here and chat with everybody. Depends who writes the science books or religious rules. I think we've asking more questions than we've answered this morning, but that's no harm in that. I found useful if one group are saying it's 10%, and the alternatives are saying 90%, it's probably 50%. That's Thompson's rule. Let's put that into the science books as Thompson's rule, shall we? Penny Albertella, there are many prestigious independent scientists who vehemently disagree with what we're being told. Absolutely, Penny. That's what I mean about the science. What the science? Yes, exactly. Yes, Carl, exactly. Science is provable. Religion. Oh, come on. Paul, it's 10 to 10 on a Monday morning. I want to go there, but I'm not sure if everybody else wants to go there. What I want to say to that is with religion, and it's all about the words, isn't it? Religion has got such a bad reputation, and understandably and rightly so. So many hideous acts have been carried out in the name of religion. A few hideous acts have also been carried out in the name of science, it has to be said, although probably not intentionally, to be fair to science. But provable. The thing, what I love about the spiritual experience is the proof of spirituality is personal, isn't it? And for me, anyway, I'm not saying that's how it should be for anybody else, but my own spiritual journey is so real to me and so provable to myself. And It's like it's beyond that, and it sounds like a big cop out, but it's beyond proving to anybody else. Not that I feel I have to prove it to anybody else, but it's so interesting that can we make the comparison between science and religion, or are they not just two parts of us that you can't compare them, because they are like the two parts of us, aren't they? The science, the knowing, and the inner knowing and the outer knowing, if you like. Science is the outer knowing, isn't it, in which we share a world of outer knowing, and spirituality, religion, is the inner knowing, in where we can only have empathy and sympathy and some sense of what's going on for other people, but you can never know what's going on for someone else, can you? I'm going to stop there, because I love this, but I can't take us past the 10 o'clock wire, talking about science, religion, and our philosophical views on it at this time on a Monday morning. The conversation with you are watching the conversation with the friends of Q who remain anonymous, Pete. It's so interesting, isn't it? How many people watch those conversations but don't comment on them, because it can get messy. Rest assured, Pete, I have not become a Q convert over the weekend. I am not saying that I refuse to condemn it, as I do with most things. Okay, let's not go there, right? Let's not go into what I will and won't condemn right now. Again, I'm not shying away from it, but now is not the time for that. But now I know what you're referring to. I haven't converted to Q and QAnon and all that sort of stuff. And at the same time, I feel like I have a really good understanding of what appeals to people about that as well. And I think that deserves some sort of empathy and openness. I really do, because I don't think it's any madder and crazier than a lot of what people believe. I'm getting into some deep hot water territory here, aren't I? But when you have a thought system that's backed up by lots of people in what we could call the common agreement, the majority, it could be really crazy, and often is. And it's it's little boy at the Emperor's Parade stuff. The Emperor's naked. But when it's a mainstream view and lots of people believe it, it's upheld much more easily, because it's constantly reinforced and it's what you're brought up with, than something like the Q phenomenon, which to me meets in many ways meets many of the same human needs, like the wish as we're growing up, the wish to believe in. It's a continuum, isn't it? The wish to believe in the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, God, all of these things that we project outside ourselves for safety and for security and to understand life. In my mind, I cannot separate people who give their allegiance to Q to a lot of other mainstream political parties. I really can't, and I'm just going to chuck that in there now, and then run away this morning. I think. Am I on tonight? You are. I was just asking the question, Claire, if you want to join me at 9 tonight. That would work out a whole lot better. And I think it would work out better for you. So 9 o'clock, the expat chat with Claire tonight, where some people might now say, what about your views about Q, Carl? We will get the time and the place for that. Gary Austin, welcome home, Mark Rigby. Give me a shout, Claire, okay, on that. Palabra do dia, incerteza, or uncertainty. We'll go for that, Pete. That's what we have to learn to live with, right? So on the one hand, we can try and be certain, can't we? And we can develop things like scientific belief, religious belief, QAnon, for us to feel certain. Or to me, the greatest thing a human being can do is, you've hit the nail on the head with our palabra de dia today, is to learn to live with uncertainty. That to me is a big, bold, brave, smart human being who might understandably want certainty and pick some sort of thing in life to, like a Bible or a double-blind placebo test, so that they can be certain about something. I think the biggest people in the world, I think the most grown-up, advanced people, will be the ones who can learn to live with uncertainty. Oh dear, what have I done? Welcome, Mark, another Hampshire boy. Hampshire boy. It sounds like a football chant. That Hampshire boys, they are here. and I'm not going to sing the rest of it. Happy for tonight. Perfect. So I'm thinking where this is shaping up, we're going to be talking to Claire at 9, hopefully, so she can have her early bedtime, and Mark, where Mark and I might sip on a single malt and smoke a cigar to celebrate his arrival here in Portugal, listening to some fantastic music. Biden. I'm not sure what that means. Is that Tuesday night, 10 p.m., 7 hours? Yeah, it's Lisbon time tomorrow at 10. Are we all going to pile in? Helen, Rachel, and Owen. It's an invitation. I'll be there, says Owen. Fantastic. Yes, Penny, about the Great Reset. I agree with Paul, says Sully. What about Hampshire boys? I'm losing track now. Probable or evidence-based conundrum. Oh my goodness, nothing is provable. What can of worms have we opened this morning? And the comments keep coming, and it's getting close to 10 o'clock. You shouldn't have to prove your faith, Paul. And I am an atheist. Wow. Bon dia. I will try this time to stay awake for the tomorrow show with Donna Jacqueline. We are 1 hour later in Belgium. Oh, wow. It's going to be a good one tomorrow night. Check out Tim Minchin. Storm, says Eugene. He's a rascal, old Tim Minchin, isn't he? In science, you change your mind when new data presents itself that's justified. With religion, you religiously stick to the old book. No, they don't, Will. You're only saying that because you're a scientist. If you talk to some religious people, you might find that they don't all do that. Like, such a big brush you are tarring everybody within the same way. Hot seats now. Woohoo! Religion is also about what we've been told, like any concept of reality, like in psychology. The bigger controlling adult does and says is right and real. Are they right? It's a good observation, Loza, for sure. Asking for a friend, has any bookmaker paid out on the Biden win? Cheeky. Q is a distraction psyop, says Rachel. I went down that rabbit hole. Tuesday's going to be awesome. Not discussing religion too much. The fact is science can prove some things, but still can't prove everything. Yes, Sephira. However, I rather believe that we may have a chance to meet ETs faster than to meet gods. Who's to say they're not the same thing, Sephiro? Bon dia from Sunny Caldash from Mag. You've missed something awesome this morning. Frank, bon dia, todos. Orange clouds are gone. A nice sunny day with vaccine awaits. Everyone, it's like open season. Everyone's saying what's on their mind and getting off their chest what they need to say. I think this one, learning to live with uncertainty is accepting change. Yes, however, if you let others control your destiny, they will, says Helen. And I think we should leave it here. It's the law. We don't go past 10 o'clock on the Good Morning Portugal show. And it's amazing how many people are still here. God bless you all, or science, or whatever you like to be blessed by. Whoops. Join together, be strong, I think, is the final sentiment that we'll leave you with this morning from my good old mate Loza in the UK. I'm assuming he's in the UK. Join together, be strong. A great message to end with. Thank you all. You've been awesome this morning. You really have. That's a proper show. That was, I don't know where that all came from. Well done, everybody. Bon dia from Peter Bleach. Adaptability is the key. Great show, says Owen. We got to leave it there, guys, but we'll be back again tomorrow morning, and we'll be talking to Claire tonight, and we'll be talking to Mark tonight as well, listening to some beautiful music. And we got the ambassador on Behaviour Lot on Friday when the ambassador's with us. Okay, bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Beijinhos, abrazos.